Yes, it was a horrible fight. We had a horrible fight, and we weren't talking to each other for 2 weeks. Right, Karl?
That's exactly what happened. She smacked me around a little bit.
Yeah.
Virtually.
Yes.
Yeah. As she is wont to do.
I had a bunch of graduations to go to.
I know. You're a fancy school board member. Anyway, hello. Welcome back. Democracy is at death's door.
Thank you.
This is the first time you've been on with us since we've been back in studio.
I know, it's exciting. It's like a flashback to another bygone era.
Yeah.
It's been like a year and a half.
Yeah, we've been through a few eras together.
Yeah.
But as you're in your previous era as a campaign strategist, I mean, don't you feel like that a little? Like we're like, oh, this is the most important election. No, this is. But I mean, this honestly might be the last
really
one.
Is.
This one might be the last
this one. Really is.
Yeah, I mean, if they get all these voter suppression and not just, and again, Karl, I'm glad more people are saying it's not just the suppression part. It's the, we can just overturn it if we don't like it part.
They're trying to protect themselves on both sides of the coin. One, they're trying to make it harder for us to win.
Right.
And then two, when we do win, they're making it easier to throw out the election. And that's frightening.
Right. Well, and, I mean, I got to say, you were a Republican many, many years ago. You were a campaign strategist. Do you understand any element of today's iteration of the Republican Party?
No.
Infrastructure,
what are
wildly popular. COVID relief, wildly popular. I mean, Mitch McConnell said it out loud, Karl. He said the era of bipartisanship is over. So what the Joe Manchin thinks he's doing, I don't know. I mean, Mitch McConnell
it's interesting.
Right.
There's a story in Salon today about how the Chamber of Commerce had never really supported Manchin over the last many years, and all of a sudden, right around the time he decided to come out against voting rights, the Chamber of Commerce opened up its checkbook to him. Yeah. So it's very disappointing. Part of this voting rights bill is about protecting our democracy from dark money. So it's little surprise that it was dark money that may have swayed Joe Manchin on this issue.
But even on January 6th, Joey Reid tweeted, so former Republican Congresswoman Barbara Comstock just explained how to do this. Democrats, just from the January 6th committee, start issuing subpoenas yesterday. Get on it and stop waiting for these fantasy bipartisan Republicans to pop out of the ground like cicadas. I mean, and I think it's really true. It's like we do this on every subject, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's January 6th commission, just do it. Go Benghazi on their ass.
Be transparent, be thorough, be specific and detailed, so that, basically what you would tell a student, show your work, and then let the facts be what they may. Right. You don't need Republicans in the room to do this work properly. You just need to be thorough, transparent, and honest about what the results are.
Yeah. And, again, Karl, I get people getting depressed over the last couple of days, but it's time to raise your voices more, right? I mean, it's time to start fighting hard, whether it's letting the Justice Department know how you feel about, I mean, first of all, I don't understand this Don McGahn stuff. It's stuff we knew, right? But, I mean, I feel like, someone did say Democrats know what they're doing, releasing this. Put pressure on the Justice Department that you have got to prosecute Donald Trump for obstruction of justice. Yeah. You've got to. We can't create this precedent, can we?
No, we can't. I'm not clear on when the statute would run out on that. But I also know that there are many other investigations, and that law enforcement agencies tend to work together when that's the case. So I would not be surprised if things are being timed appropriately so that avenues of investigation are not cut off.
Right. So in case people hadn't heard it, because it does have that sense of, didn't we already know this? Well, yes. Yeah. But it took 2 years to get Don McGahn to testify. So he told lawmakers in a closed-door interview that he regarded Trump's demand to have Bob Mueller fired as a point of no return for the administration if it was carried out. McGahn resisted Trump's directive that he contact then Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, to press for Mueller's removal from the Russia investigation, said it seemed like an inflection point that would have prompted Rosenstein either to fire Mueller or resign himself. McGahn said, we're still talking about the Saturday Night Massacre decades and decades later. I mean, he just confirmed all of this massive obstruction of justice. And so I just, that's just one case. I mean, Trump needs to be prosecuted, obviously, for the insurrection.
One person who was willing to be honest.
Right.
One person was willing to speak up. There's plenty of people that have remained silent.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. Sometimes your head swims with, I know Malcolm Nance said yesterday, it's going to be like what's his name? Al Capone. It's the taxes that's going to get him. It's the financial. I don't know who
any means necessary.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy was. Connie, who was it that just testified? Who works for Weisselberg? And I mean, I don't know, Carl, what your take is on what, when, and where he will be actual prosecuted.
Well, I think he's most afraid of New York.
Yeah.
Much like the NRA, he's most afraid of New York, and I think that's why he's staying put, and why he keeps attacking New York as well. So I agree that it's likely to come down to that, at least initially. And we'll see what else comes following that. There's plenty there.
Yeah.
I also think that we're likely to start seeing books coming out over the next 6 months to a year with additional details that people have held back from being reported so that they could sell their books, much like we saw during the administration. So
thank you, John.
We will continue to get bits and pieces that we did not know about for months, if not years.
Well, it's like, for instance, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and other, others that are complicit. And we don't even know to the full degree yet, but even what we know looks pretty bad in terms of the insurrection, right? January 6th. But, there's a story this morning from Politico that the voters in Lauren Boebert's district are humiliated and embarrassed. I mean, you have to hope we have some, safe locks in place, right? Like if they don't they should be ejected from Congress. They should be charged, in my opinion, in the January 6th insurrection. But if they're not, you have to hope that there is enough sane people still in this country. They're saying the antics of Lauren Boebert in Congress have been turning off voters in one of the most important cities in her district, creating a groundswell to defeat her in the 2022. That's the last safeguard, right? They get thrown out. Among voters in Pueblo, the largest and most politically unpredictable city in Boebert's district, there's a growing sense of exasperation with the freshman representative 6 months into her tenure. One said, when I think of Lauren Boebert, I think of that expression, all hat and no cattle. When she had the opportunities to support stimulus funding, she chose Trump over us. It's very frustrating. So she's, like every Republican, opposed to the infrastructure plan, right? And he said one of the key parts of that infrastructure plan is Amtrak expansion. Ours is one of the only 3 mills in the country that makes rail. If we can just get that part of the infrastructure plan alone passed, that will increase business that would keep us in jobs for many years. He said, I'm humiliated and embarrassed when she speaks on the House floor. She screams all the time. She seems to have affiliated herself with white supremacists. So right now, she's 42% favorable, 45% unfavorable in her district. So, but I mean, go ahead.
I think it's very hard to beat those two in their districts, regardless of how crazy they are. And that's what happens with gerrymandering and creating districts that are extremely conservative like that. We had Steve King in Congress for a long time. Louis Gohmert has been crazy for decades. But they're able to hold on.
Yes.
What you do to kind of cut them off at the knees so they can't be effective, and so that their views cannot hold sway, is you increase the size of the Democratic majority. It may not be taking out Boebert that does that, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, but getting more Democratic colleagues into the House and into the Senate, that's what will stop the likes of them. And you get rid of them and another one of them will pop up to fill the void.
The Senate is my dream.
They're like weird right-wing gremlins.
That my dream is that no one ever asks Joe Manchin again what he thinks or what he's going to do, because it won't matter, right? If we have 85 in the Senate, or however many in the Senate, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Carl, we've missed you so. Don't ever run away again, Lassie.
Likewise, I won't. And hopefully we'll see each other this summer.
All right.
I would love that.
Hooray.
Yeah.